Okay. I'm Nick Pomeroy with PR Equipment here in Kearns, Texas. Hey, today this video is going to be a little bit different. Normally I'm out here and I know what I'm talking about, and I've got a lot of experience with a lot of different farm implements, but today we're going to talk about this implement here that I've never actually run before. This is the flail mower, and so we've of late got a lot of interest in different flail mowers and some of these more compact flail mowers for the smaller tractors. And so I don't have a lot of experience. Most of my customers have gone with finish mowers or shredders. And so like we've seen some interest in this, so we've ordered some of these in. And this is the first time I've ever run one. So I want to talk a little bit about, you know, what this is and what it does and maybe some of the setup. And then we'll kind of show you what it looks like to operate this machine. Just for a point of reference, we've got this hooked up to a GC1723 Massey Ferguson. It's a 23 horsepower tractor, 18-ish horsepower at the PTO, I think. I think this is like a 50-inch flail mower, so it's just a little bit wider than the tractor. There's a couple of different ways to set these up. You can offset them, so there's two different positions you can bolt this A-frame up in, and so you can offset it to the left to the right here. We've got it offsetted to where the flail mower sets off to the right. And there's even some spacers and some different ways you can set the 3-point on here. And a point of reference here, the way you hook up the top link, I think is kind of important. There's a hole, which unlike with a shredder where it has a pivot point, on this one there is no pivot point. So I think it's pretty important, or at least for me, to be in the slot, and that's gonna give that some give so we're not pushing down so hard on that implement. Something I noticed when I hooked it up. I gave it a little thought when I was looking at it, so we've, I think the slot is where we want this. To be honest with you, you should definitely read the owner's manual before you operate this. But, so the flail mower is kind of a little bit different from a shredder. In fact, you know, the shredder, or the, you know, people call them bush hogs or whatnot, rotary cutter, any number of things. But it spins kind of laterally with large heavy blades and throws stuff in every direction, hopefully into a guard of some sort or the sides of the shredder. So with the flail mower, however, it's a drum style mower, and it's spinning very, very quickly but underneath this kind of the frame of the flail mower. And so there's two styles of blades. There's a knife and there's a hammer. And these are, so I will say that your heavier brush conditions, the flail mower is probably not a great option. You know, we sell shredders that have up to a 5-inch cut capacity shredder, or 5-inch cut capacity, so you can really take down some heavy material. I think this with the hammers is rated at like 1.5 or 2-inch cut capacity. It's not a super heavy duty, but if you've got some small saplings, some thick weeds, things like that, I think that this is a good option. And with the knives, you can actually get kind of more of a finish mower style cut, so it kind of does two things. Currently, I have the hammers on there. The hammers, so, and there's a lot of these blades under here, and as that drum spins, it's kind of that centrifugal force is gonna cut down the grass and the weeds. But I put actually I take that back. I did not put the hammers on it. It came with the hammers, and I just left them on. Now, the Titan flail mower here, this is the FL135. It comes with both styles. So if you want the knives, they do come with it as well, and of course, replacement blades are available. But I left the hammers on primarily because there's a lot of them and I didn't really want to change them all out. Couple more components here. It's got this roller on the back. I think there's some settings to this, but the roller kind of serves, I think, a couple purposes. It kind of completes the lower part of that guard, but it also serves as kind of an anti-scalping device to where it kind of contours the ground. And there's also this little bar that goes across, and I have a feeling that's to kind of keep that roller clean and kind of set that width. As far as adjustments, and I'd already made some of these adjustments, there's some settings to the skid shoe, and so there's a couple holes available there, and you can adjust how low that skid shoe will kind of ride, and you can change the angle at which the roller is you know, at, to where that determines how low that roller sets. I did adjust it a little bit, so I think it's going to ride pretty good and get us a really low cut, but we'll play with that here in a second. So, it's kind of maintenance, you know, there is some grease zerks on the bearings here, obviously some gear lube, and then you got your belts running here. And on this particular implement, there's no there's no slip clutch or shear device, so really your protection is kind of here in the belt system. So if you were to hit something, it's going to slip a belt as opposed to, you know, a slip clutch. So that's kind of nice. So that's kind of the flail mower in a nutshell. We're going to fire this thing up. We're going to run it a little bit. I've got some tall grass. It's dry at this point because it's winter, but we're going to run it out here and just see what kind of cut quality we get. So I'm going to fire up this GC1723E, and we're going to go cut a couple passes out here and just see what that looks like. So the GC1723E is powered quite well, or it's quite well matched for this particular implement. So I'm going to run it up. I'm going to go ahead and engage the PTO. One thing you notice right off is it runs very smooth. I'm going to drop it down here. Okay, so I made a few passes and I'm pretty impressed with what exactly it did. I honestly think for this application the knives would be a better fit with this dry grass, and it is primarily grass with just a few weeds. I did notice one thing it did not like was wet fire ant mounds, which I don't think shredders really like those too much on these smaller tractors either. But it does not like wet fire ant mounds, so if you're planning on cutting a lot of those, it's not going to do. I guess it does fine, but it pulls the tractor down a little bit. So I'm pretty impressed. I noticed that it cuts the material significantly smaller than a shredder would. So it kind of, you know, it chops it up a lot more, and I think that's pretty nice. And I honestly think that with the knives, it might even do a little bit better job. So I'm kind of impressed with what it does for my first time running a flail mower. I will say I see some advantages in some applications. Is one, it doesn't stick nearly far back beyond the rear of the tractor, and so therefore we don't have quite so much weight kind of acting on as leverage on the tractor. So that's kind of nice. It's nice and compact, so when we're turning corners and things, we're not taking out fences and whatnot. But overall, I was pretty impressed with the flail mower. I don't know that it's for everybody, but definitely if you're in the market, for a small tractor, maybe you want to look at some other attachments other than what is traditionally offered, come check us out at PR Equipment. We're always looking for new ways to get the GC series Masseys involved in your operation. So guys, check us out on Facebook, you know, follow us on Instagram, subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're always releasing new content on different attachments and tractors and things we sell, but also on how to properly use what you bought. So thank y'all. Okay.